Hey, it's Scott. I'm a storyteller and I'm coming to you from the high Sierras with a few thoughts on making the most of your next presentation. So here's the good news. You're now on the schedule to deliver a big talk before a key audience. Now, how can you make the most of this opportunity? Glad you asked. Here are 6 tips to help you crush your next presentation. First, keep it conversational. Explain your ideas as simply as possible in commonplace language. Avoid technical jargon and multisyllabic words. They're nothing but trouble. Presentations work best when they're delivered in a casual, accessible way, as if you're explaining something to someone in an airport bar, not defending a doctoral thesis. Poke the crowd. Engage the audience with rhetorical questions. Now, why would you want to do that? Because it works. Second, tell stories. Everybody who gets up in front of an audience really only starts putting points on the board when they are telling stories. So talk about the people who are advancing your subject and provide examples. People who are innovating, people who are showing initiative, people who are building great teams, people with courage, people being flexible, people being agile. Spotlight individual and team efforts in the service of bringing to life larger concepts and initiatives. Third, cut up their food. Begin with this premise. Your audience has no base of knowledge about your subject. Avoid terms of art, and if you must use one, define it in everyday language. And bring everyone along by describing your subject as if you were explaining it to a teenager. Even if they already have a working knowledge of your topic, you'll still be explaining your concepts in a way to drive meaning, understanding, and retention. Fourth, make your numbers real. Take my business. One of the most extraordinary aspects about the energy industry that people don't get because it needs translation, scale. People can't understand what's so amazing about powering the world without some context. A couple years ago, we were trying to explain the vast resource base in the natural gas fields we operate offshore Northwest Australia, but we had to place it in everyday terms to get through to people. When people hear the absolute numbers, they just know it's big, but they're not astounded. But if you can say to them, you know, there's enough molecules in the Gorgon and Wheatstone fields to power Shanghai through the end of the century, you can get through to them with the vastness of the potential energy under the ocean off the Australian coast. So to break through, you want to use the known to describe the unfamiliar. Fifth, put some boundaries on PowerPoint. PowerPoint isn't inherently bad, it's just so frequently used badly, horribly badly. Think about it this way. PowerPoint is a condiment, it's not a food group. It shouldn't be on equal terms with the speaker or be, God forbid, directing the speaker. Slides should be thematic complements to make the speaker's remarks. They shouldn't replicate them. There should be no overlap between the words you say and the text on your slides. Worst of all, don't show slide units, which combine the worst parts of white papers and technical illustrations. Don't put multiple concepts on the same slide. Break them out. When your audience has to pick between listening and reading, it's comprehension that loses. Finally, rehearse, rehearse, rehearse. I've been staffing senior leaders in government and the corporate world for 20 years. The number one single most underutilized performance enhancer is rehearsal. We will all come to an inflection point in our event prep, and the cake should already be baked, and any more tweaks to your content will only get you marginal returns. But too many people spend their valuable time fiddling with the frosting when they could be high-grading their delivery. Rehearsal lets you bring confidence, conviction, passion, and variety to your delivery. But the opportunity cost of not rehearsing is huge. The audience isn't going to obsess about the wording, but they'll always notice if you're not fully present. Look at it this way. If the Rolling Stones still need an afternoon sound check before an evening show, you can bet that we all need rehearsal too. So there you have it. 6 tips to help you crush your next presentation. Keep it conversational, tell stories, cut up their food, make numbers real, rehearse, 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 and keep PowerPoint on a leash. Do that and you'll bring the best version of yourself to your talk, engage your audience, and send people away with a clear sense of your main messages. That's the upshot.